Are you famous? I think I've been asked that, and or the group has been asked that probably for the last, oh gosh, 45 years, 47. I started my musical career when I was 16. I signed to a recording contract and a writing contract. Somebody believed in me and my writing partner at the time, Bill Weir. And he happened to be friends with Tommy Boyce, and so that was an end for us. You know, to send our music, have somebody professionally judge us, and through him we met several people like Del Shannon, Bobby Hart, um, Andy Williams, the Everly Brothers, just to name a few. I would be in certain places. Like one time a friend of ours, invited us to a radio station, K-Day. I don't know what it is now. He was interviewing Paul Williams and said, if you guys want to come down and hang out, do so. Paul Williams did Planet of the Apes, We've Only Just Begun. I think he did a tune for with Barbra Streisand. Anyway, he's been around. He's about 5'1". If I remember, he was dressed in pink suit, pants, white shoes. I think he was on something like we saw him. What I don't know. And so my friend and I, we came up, and I was dressed in red, white, and blue socks, red and white, blue shoes, kind of a Captain America shirt, dark shades, hair to my shoulders. So we were sitting there and we're kind of listening, and he's just kind of, looking around, trying to say, who are these people? And DJ goes, oh, just friends of mine. And he says, well, he said, what do you do? I said, well, we write and we record, Oh, have you done anything I've ever heard of? And I said, well, I don't know, and, question after question. And I said, well, I'm not really famous. I'd love to be, but I'm just out there like everybody else. And he goes, oh, I don't believe that. So then he was looking at the shoes. He says, can I have your red, white, and blue shoes, socks? Or tell me at least where I can get it. And I said, well, you're not going to get my shoes and socks. I can tell you where to get them. And he was just fixated on the whole thing. So this whole thing went on for like 2 hours between the interviews and everything. And just, said, ended the conversation, let me know where you're going to play. I would go on rock and roll interviews with a friend of mine. Some people at Teen Magazine, and I would sit on these things, and sometimes I'd be interviewing teen idols, Hermits or whatever, and these people would look at me looking at, threatening and say, well, who is he? What's he doing here? They would say, well, he's just a friend, what do you do? And the whole thing would go, are you famous? No, not really. I'm just, hanging out, and I just really found that hard to believe. I would go to these Hollywood parties, and there'd always be somebody coming up and saying to me, I'm doing this project, blah, blah, blah. What are you doing? And wanted to know what I was famous for, and I would just tell them, I'm nobody, really. They found that hard to believe. Even when Cyrus Round got together, we were very zany. We'd show up with our rock and roll t-shirts. I'd wear this John Lennon t-shirt, Mark might have the Who or whatever, and we get people's curiosity, but not enough for women the real good ones, to go out with us. The funniest thing that happened to me is we were on vacation up northern California, my wife and I, and I'm in some 60-ish type place off the road, and in the restroom, and some guy's looking at me, I'm in the mirror, combing my hair, whatever. Had on my John Lennon t-shirt. He's looking at me, and I turn around and I says, "Can I help you?" And he says, "Are you famous or something?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." I said, "I've done some things in the 60s and 70s, and even do some stuff now." He says, "You got a group?" And I said, "Yeah, Cyrus Brown." And, "Well, what have you done?" And I told him, and the guy asked me for his autograph, and I said, "Well, I guess that's why you're the guy who autographed." And he told me he was from Canada, and he says, "Well, I'll see you around, you know." And so I kind of walk out, and I'm shaking my head, and my wife goes, "What's that all about?" I told her, I said, the guy kind of wasn't stalking me, but he thought I was famous. Well, as I'm telling her, this guy's at the bar, and he's with his wife and some friends, and he's pointing at me and saying, "That guy's famous," but he wouldn't tell me who he really was. But I got his autograph. I'm thinking, this is strange. Oh, when I got back home, I told the guys about it, and they just laughed. You know, we all said, we ought to write a book called "Are You Famous or Never Famous?" Always having been on the fringes.